To Kill a Mockingbird video 17. Actually, I wouldn't like to advance in this video. I just would like to get some review on the words. So maybe if you are 100% okay with all of the words we have seen so far, then it's okay, you don't need to watch this video, okay? Okay, question. Imagine you are walking on the street and you see a cute guy or a cute girl across the street. You start looking at the person there and then you fall right in front of the person. What will happen to your face? I mean, you didn't fall on your face, so don't worry. I mean, you're going to be embarrassed, right? So what will happen? Answer, you will blush, okay? You will blush. Keep in mind that flush is the same thing as blush, alright? Question. You have a baby in your arm and you want to calm the baby down. So you look at the baby and says this word, little baby, don't you cry. Answer? Hush, little baby, don't you cry. There is a song that goes like, summertime when the living is easy, fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Oh, your dad is rich and your mom is good looking, so hush little baby, don't you cry. Alright? And then I believe there is one of those modern songs I've heard somewhere where it's one of those dancing women, you know, like Mariah Carey. I don't think Mariah Carey is very it's very new from today, right? But it's one of those singers, and the songs go hush, 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 whatever, hush, hush. Yeah, it's not a good reference, right? Take a look. You are watching a class, and suddenly somebody said something extremely offensive, and from that moment on, you stop paying attention. What is another way to say that? Answer. The other way is thereafter. Okay, the examples I have here are thereafter he ceased to pay attention, just as the word I gave you. Inflation will fall, and thereafter so will interest rates. Right? Question. Very important question, because you have to know about my childhood in order to answer this question. When I was a child, there were two of those huge trees in front of my house. Actually, there was inside of the yard a huge one and two very big ones in front of my house. They had little green balls. We used them, you know, to those berries, you know, to fight. You know, we used to make wars with those little green balls there. Question, what are those trees called? Answer, they're called China berry trees. I don't know if I told you, but I learned this reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and I've never heard in my life the name of the tree in Portuguese. Apparently, in Portuguese is either cinnamon, or amargoseira. I've never heard any of those names in my life. I just used to call it árvore de bolinha. This is how we call it. And then it's interesting because every time I pass in front of those, I don't remember cinnamon or cinnamon. Of course, I remember my childhood name for that, or China berry tree, which is, I don't know, it's pretty easier to remember, right? China berry tree. Question. You enter, I don't know, He Happy. You know He Happy, the toy store, you know, and then there's a boy, he's on the ground, he's just, you know, pounding the floor, saying, I want my Lego, I want my Lego. And the parents are looking at him, you know, thinking about how are they going to pay a psychologist for this boy, you know, instead of just, you know, giving the boy, you know, some spanking. Sometimes it's nice. That's not the point. The point is, what is the child doing there? Answer, the child is fussing. Okay, fussing. There's a song. I tried to find this song. Apparently the song just disappeared. The song was against war, you know. I remember when I started studying English, I bought one of those magazines called Speak Up. It was a very nice magazine to practice English, and each issue brought a song. And I never forgot the song because I used it to study English. So it was, pack some medals, don't make a fuss, forget about the two of us, we are off to war. Doesn't matter if you agree, you are here to kill, you see, we are off to war. Okay? Don't you ever wonder why nothing changes if you die, we are off to war. Okay, something like that. I tried to write the whole lyrics on Google. You know, I tried to Google it. I couldn't find. So if you know the song, please tell me. You know, I have a kind of sentimental memory with this song. So don't make a fuss. You know, pack some medals. Don't make a fuss. Let's just go to war, right? Question. What do we call that boy who was raised by monkeys and he's really strong and he got to date Jane, I think? Answer, of course, you know the answer there. It's Tarzan, right? So just the pronunciation, maybe that's why I'm repeating this word, Tarzan. Another cultural reference, I think this one is a little bit harder. Question. There was in the Arthurian legend a magician and a prophet who was the counselor of King Arthur. What's his name? Answer, Merlin. Okay, very famous wizard. I don't know, but I think Harry Potter people will know how to answer that, but maybe in Harry Potter they mention Merlin as being a very powerful wizard. Maybe, because, you know, he's one of the most important of all. Of course, he doesn't appear in the Harry Potter series, but, you know, like in the history of the universe, you know. Question. Let's imagine you are walking on the forest, right? And then you see something up there on a tree and it's curious, it looks like a ball. All right, so you have this very smart idea. You get some stones and you start you know, you start throwing the stones at that ball, let's say, and finally you get it, and the ball falls to the ground, but it was not a ball, it was a beehive, you know, like a house of a bee. So all of the bees go to your face and now they're all over your face. Question, what are they doing? Answer, they are teeming on your face. By the way, we can use the word teem as well. For example, for an ocean teeming with life, you know, an ocean full of life. Question, you are at home thinking about how much you would like to meet that special person. So what are you feeling now? Answer, you are feeling a longing in your heart, right? You long for this person. Yearning is another way to say longing, and desire is another way to say that. Question, what is a word? I would like to make more creative questions instead of just asking the meaning of words. So you are walking and then you see this house, you know, it seems a little old, but it's very classy, you know, and very well made. How can you describe this little house? Answer, quaint. It's quaint. Some Americans use quaint to describe the British accent, you know, because it sounds formal, a little bit peculiar, so that would be quaint. Question: I know what is, and you know what is a fancy car, but what can you imagine is my fancy as a noun? Answer: my imagination. Okay. And then we have the word repertoire, right? Repertoire. I think it's quite similar to Portuguese, but I want you to repeat this word repertoire, right? Repertoire. It's important, the pronunciation. Next question. You are telling, you're very excited telling about this geology thing you've been learning, about the composition of the rock you have in your hand, and the person is just looking at you like, so how can you describe this attitude? Answer: the person is vapid. Okay, the sentences I have here. Vapid conversation. Okay. The minister's young and rather vapid wife. The minister's young and rather vapid wife. It's like boring, dull, right? But we can also use vapid, like boring, dull, like vapid tea. And I think this is very interesting, if you try to make tea and the water is not hot enough, because you are in a hurry, like me, I have big problems waiting for things to be heated. Sometimes I get home and I just open the fridge and I start eating, out of cold. That's kind of embarrassing to tell, right? But I don't have the patience. Alright, that's not important. But the important is, if the water is not hot enough and you try to, put the tea bag there, your tea will be vapid, It's like dull in flavor, lacking flavor. Question: what can we say about this pen in relation to the book? Answer: this pen is jutting out, from jutting out the book. Question: what kind of stone do people use in the United States for roofs? I don't know if it's the context we saw in our story. I don't remember actually, but that's it's a very dark gray stone they use for the roof instead of our tiles here in Brazil. Answer: it's slate. If you remember the part of the book we saw slate, please let me know. Question: you enter this house, and you try to close the door, and the bottom of the door, is already all breaking up. It's a wooden house, it's all breaking up, Why? Because the door is rotted, right? Rotted. And rot is the verb, rotten is the adjective, like rotten apple, right? A rotten meat is kind of disgusting. Okay. Okay, question. You go to the florist and you buy this beautiful flower for the person you love, but the person doesn't arrive there in the meeting place on time, and eventually when the person does arrive, your flower is, how do you say that in English? Answer: droop. Okay, so your flower is drooping. Okay. Question: if you have one of those wood fences, what do you need? You need a lot of what? Answer: you need a lot of pickets. Okay, pickets. Question: what is a swept yard and why is it important for the American culture? Answer, I'll give you on the next video.